Now in Law Talk, we're going to join Aldo from Escarpment Law Group. We're going to discuss more practical issues that buyers face. Last week, we discussed insurance and different types that go along with your mortgage and home, and property taxes. This week, we're going to talk about utility setup, home renos, and surveys. Utilities. It's something that we have to have set up before we even move into the home, right?
Through the legal process, the utility providers will be notified that final readings are being taken on the day of closing, so that the seller is responsible for utilities to the day of closing, and that the new buyer becomes responsible for the utilities after the day of closing. But once again, it is important for the buyers to make contact with the utility providers to set up their accounts, set up their payment plans. Because of privacy laws, there's only a limited amount that lawyers or any other agent can do on the behalf of the buyer. So it is important for the consumer to contact the utility providers directly to set up those payment plans.
And what if a buyer is moving into a home and they want to knock out walls to make the home bigger, maybe 2-3 feet added on to the back of the home, or they want to make renovations, maybe adding a pool or something? What happens in that situation?
Again, this is a common and unexpected problem that buyers will run into. Most people feel that once they become the owner of the property, they have the absolute right to do whatever they wish with respect to that property. And unfortunately, there are a number of rules, regulations, and restrictions in place, even in the case of a single-family residence, which may control the types of renovations and the types of improvements that you may make to the property. In many, many cases, permits are required from the municipality, so that before buyers assume that they can make certain changes, perhaps fundamental changes to a home, they should inquire as to whether or not those changes will be required, or will be allowed rather, and what the cost will be associated with getting those permits and getting that permission.
Okay, and lastly, explain surveys when it comes to additional costs in this.
Again, surveys are important because they help us to visualize the boundary lines of the property in relation to the house and in relation to the actual physical structures that are on the property. The fact that a fence is in place does not mean that it is necessarily exactly on the boundary line. And sometimes where structures or fences are not located on a boundary line, that can create issues with neighbors, legal issues. Sometimes title insurance can assist in that process, but quite often it may not be sufficient. So it is important that people do ask for a survey and that they do try to walk around the property to get a physical feeling rather for the layout of the property from a physical point of view in terms of the location of the encroachments and so on.
Where can somebody go to get more information if they need to use your services?
Well, they can contact us at our offices, of course, at 905-667-7990.
Great. Well, thank you very much for all your useful advice today.
Thank you.